What's up, guys? You know I like educating, so something's starting to happen in the yield curve that I haven't seen in a minute, and I had to share it with you. And I'm pretty excited about it. This is actually interesting. If you've ever heard of an inverted yield curve, it's when short-term rates are higher than long-term rates. So this is the SOFR, Secured Overnight Financing Rate. This is what short-term rates are based off of. This is more similar to the federal funds rate or when you hear the Fed is cutting rates. But so look at this. So last year, October 1, 2024, the SOFR was at 5%, but long-term rates were somewhere in around 4%. So that was what an inverted yield curve is when short-term rates are higher than long-term rates. And I don't have time to go over why that happens, but just accept that it did happen. And then since then, long-term rates went up, all the way into the start of this year, and they peaked about 4.8%. This is the 10-year Treasury. And in that time, the short term, the SOFR rate has come down. So that's called uninverting. That's the yield curve uninverting. And now the Fed finally cut the 25 basis points, and now SOFR has really dramatically come down. So the expectation is that short-term rates will continue to come down, but if you look, when the Fed cut rates, we kind of just stayed where we were for long-term rates, for mortgage rates. So what this has done is it's created an opportunity where adjustable rate mortgages are starting to look really attractive because their rates are about 1% lower than what long-term rates are. And that's a big spread, especially over $1 million. 1% on $1 million is $10,000 a year difference in payments. And we know that this trend line of short-term rates going lower is expected to continue. So for the first time in a very long time, I actually think ARMs might be a good product for home buyers, given that the short-term rates might be lower than long-term rates for the foreseeable future. One additional caveat to this is that typically when the yield curve uninverts, meaning when the long-term rates become higher than the short-term rates, after a period of an inverted yield curve, a recession follows. So it's something we're watching for next year. Definitely interested. I have rarely in my career said adjustable rate mortgages are actually a good product, but they are right now. So if you have questions about buying or refinancing, if you know you're only going to be in a property for a couple more years, it might be a decent opportunity to look at something like that. So, anyways, that's the update. Thanks for following. Take care.